Okay, so this week in our interactive lecture, we attended a mini conference that presented the maker movement and also presented some technologies we can use in the classroom. So this presentation, I'm just going to introduce the technologies and talk a little bit about the maker movement, but also talk about how some of these technologies can be used in a social sciences class. So a brief history. Very quickly, the maker movement is a term used to describe the learning strategy that focuses on increasing creativity and hands-on practice and learning. The father of this movement was Seymour Papert. He's a scientist and educator who has looked at how computers and technology can reshape learning. Some of the theories behind the maker movement, two of the big ones I found were constructionism and epistemological pluralism. So what constructionism is basically it's the teaching theory or learning theory that talks about learning by doing, as opposed to behaviorism that focuses more on students learning by listening. So constructionism, again, is very different because it focuses on the students learning by doing something, which is one of these key ideas behind the maker movement. The second idea we talked about was epistemological pluralism, which basically means there's more than one way to understand something. So why the maker movement is so important for students, especially for diverse learners, is that it gives students new ways to approach learning, and so they can find different conclusions throughout their activities. They don't just have to necessarily get to the same conclusion in the same way. So again, it allows for constant learning where there's no end goal, and it's up to the students to really decide their learning. Some of the big ideas of the maker movement, as you can see listed here, I'm not going to read them all, but you can see some of the big ones are learning by doing, which we talked about before. Also, I found learning to learn, which is kind of a key idea of the maker movement, which talks about, not just learning to remember, but it's more about learning to learn how things work and why this is important in their daily life and how maybe this can be used in their future life. So the big idea that I found about the maker movement is less us, more them. And what we talked about in the interactive lecture was, teachers do not have to be speaking for 40 minutes during a class. In fact, that may not be good for student learning. So they should only be talking a little bit and then allow for more creativity and hands-on learning for the students. Some technologies that were presented during the interactive lecture and the mini conference, one in particular that I focused on was the Junior Achievement Program. Again, if you want to look at this website, you can. More introduces more about it. But I'm going to talk about just two programs that were introduced to me. Were the Junior Achievement Program that focused on the Investment Strategies Program. So the Investment Strategies Program is part of the Junior Achievement. And so what this program was, it allowed students to compete in real-time trade across various stock markets, which is really cool. So they got some money, fake money, of course, but they could decide what stocks they want to buy and sell and watch these stocks change over 6 weeks. So again, various hands-on student learning. They decide what stocks they want to sell, and they can see how the stock markets actually change over time. Again, this is real stock markets, real time, and so they can only trade during the hours that the stock market is open. So again, very realistic. The company program is another one of these programs through Junior Achievement, and this is a 14-week program basically that allows students to create a product, to market a product, manufacture it, and then eventually liquidate it. And so as you can see, this is 100% student driven. The teachers only act as a consultant or as a support. And one of the coolest things I found about this program was the students actually get to sell their product, but then if they make any money, they can keep that money and they liquidate it and divide the money equally among their company, which would be the other team members. So I thought that was a very interesting and, again, hands-on student learning way to understand how stock markets work. How companies work and stock markets, but more particularly companies. So just how these are used in the classroom. Again, we talked about how the Investment Strategies Program could help students understand the markets. It provides real-time values of stocks, so students can see the risks and rewards of the market. This could be used in economics or a government class, and again, more hands-on, not just listening to how a stock market works, but actually seeing how the stock market works. The company program is more, again, similar to what we said in investment strategies, like more hands-on learning, but it can be incorporated into economics or business classes as well as science and technology classes. It's cross-curricular. So a lot of these concepts can be taught in any subject, really. But one of the key ideas, students are self-taught on how these business models work, and they can get a better understanding of what works, what is successful when we make a program and what doesn't work, perhaps. Again, failure is part of this, and it's okay to fail as long as we can learn from it. So thanks for listening to my short presentation on the Maker Movement. I hope you guys learned something. Okay, thanks.